Modern scientists have managed to solve many mysteries of the past. However, there are still inventions made by our ancestors that remain unexplained. For example, did you know that the Dashka stone, which is 120 million years old, is considered to be a fairly detailed map of the Urals? Or that nanotechnology was probably used as early as the 4th century AD? So if you're ready to discover these and other inventions, get comfortable. Here are some ancient technologies that defy explanation. This ancient object, made by the Romans in the 4th century, hides a very unusual secret. In addition to its rare beauty and precision craftsmanship, the main characteristic of the bowl is its color. It appears green when illuminated from the front and almost red when illuminated from the opposite side. You heard right. This object can actually change its color depending on the light. After much research, it turned out that this cup was created by masters of the past using incredibly complex techniques that today we call nanotechnology. The reason is that its creators added gold and silver microparticles as small as 50 nanometers to the dichroic glass from which it is made. By comparison, a sugar crystal is 1,000 times larger. Anyway, this idea turned out to be an ingenious solution, because it is these tiny particles that are responsible for scattering light in such an unusual way, and consequently, changing the color of the cup itself. Initially, when scientists first discovered this bowl, they concluded that the presence of these metals was just a coincidence. However, this hypothesis was soon ruled out, as they found that the cuts on the cup and its quality of processing suggest that 1,600 years ago, the Romans were the first people to put nanotechnology into practice. The snag is that it is unclear how they did it and where their equipment disappeared to. Also known as the Dashka stone or creator map, it is a mysterious object that has puzzled researchers since its discovery in 1999. The reason is that, according to some researchers, this stone is a three-dimensional map that depicts the Urals, and more specifically Bashkiria, as it was 120 million years ago, that is, at the time of the dinosaurs. This map shows the outlines of the region's rivers, irrigation system, and dams. There is also something similar to hieroglyphic inscriptions of unknown origin, which have never been deciphered. But the most amazing thing is that this map could only have been made from the data of aerial photography. Thus, this discovery may serve as evidence that there was an ancient and highly developed civilization in the Lower Cretaceous period. However, scientists are highly skeptical of such claims. Some even believe that the map is only 3,000 years old, while others dispute the very fact that there is a map on the stone. Therefore, the debate around the Dashka stone continues. Greek fire was a formidable weapon during medieval wars. This fire, used mainly at sea, was first used by the ancient Greeks as early as 424 BC. Its main feature was that it could not be extinguished, even in contact with water. Apparently, invented by the architect and chemist Callinicus, Greek fire was widely used by the Byzantine civilization. Thanks to this unusual weapon, they even managed to repel the attacks of their enemies for several centuries. Having become so important to the empire, Greek fire became a state secret. Therefore, it was decided to divide its preparation into several stages, so that information about the recipe would not fall into the hands of enemies or spies. Thus, few people knew all its ingredients. Therefore, together with the later Byzantine Empire, the recipe for this combustible mixture disappeared. Since then, many scientists, fascinated by this weapon with mysterious properties, have conducted more than one study, trying to find all the components of the mixture, but without success. Even today, no one knows exactly the recipe for creating Greek fire. It is widely known that an earthquake recording device called a seismograph was invented in 1703. However, Few people know that the Chinese Zhang Heng created a seismoscope back in the 2nd century AD, which allowed detecting tremors in the Earth's crust. The latter can be called one of the greatest scientists of his time, poet and astronomer, cartographer and geographer. Zhang Heng created, in fact, a futuristic invention. Around the perimeter of the jug-shaped body of this bronze seismoscope, about 1.8 meters high, there were 8 dragons, and in the mouth of each there was a metal ball. Under each of the dragons was a toad-shaped container with an open mouth. So, during earth tremors, the dragon's mouth, oriented towards the epicenter of the earthquake, opened and released the ball, which, falling into the mouth of the toad, emitted a loud sound, signaling the impending threat. The amazing thing is that this seismoscope functioned perfectly. Scientists even put it to the test, creating conditions close to a real earthquake. They found that the accuracy of this ancient technology was comparable to that of modern seismographs. So what's the mystery, you ask? The thing is that it is still unknown what was inside this device. Apparently, there was some kind of pendulum or similar device that reacts to the shaking of the earth and makes the dragon's mouth open and release the ball. Therefore, one can only wonder how Zhang Heng was able to create such a complex and precise technology. Even though these Carolingian-type swords were relatively common, they were still unusual for their time. Used in Scandinavia in the 800s and 1000s AD, these swords were made of steel containing much more carbon than all other swords of the time. This gave them extraordinary hardness and at the same time elasticity. They could withstand blows without breaking or getting stuck. In addition, they were easy to remove from the shield. All of this allowed for superior striking power. Because of these features, the creators of the Ulfberht swords were considered to be people with magical powers. It is possible that this was the case, because the composition of the metal of this sword is so mysterious that it still puzzles archaeologists. Medieval technology in principle could not allow the creation of such perfect tools. Moreover, these swords were forged from steel, the quality of which was reproduced in Europe only after the Industrial Revolution. Therefore, the origin of the metal leads researchers to complete bewilderment. It should be mentioned that many fakes of later years have been found, which were noticeably inferior in their characteristics to the original sword of Ulfberht with the appropriate branding. This suggests that the technology of its manufacture disappeared as suddenly as it appeared. It appears to be the oldest optical instrument ever discovered. This impressive find dates back to around the 7th century BC. Since its discovery by Henry Layard in 1845 at Kalhu near Nimrud, Mesopotamia, this lens has intrigued all researchers. The lens is made of rock crystal and has a flat convex shape, close to an oval. It is not clear how it was made and polished, especially considering the technology that existed at the time. But what is even more controversial, how was it used? It is still not clear what exactly the Nimrud lens could have been used for, but one thing is certain, it was made with remarkable precision for its time. Researcher David Brewster is convinced that the lens was intended to concentrate sunlight or to be used as a magnifying glass. Do you like the video? Then don't forget to put a like and subscribe to the channel. There will be a lot of interesting, shocking, and exciting things ahead.